All of us have enemies. No one can honestly say that everybody likes them. And if you came in here this morning under that assumption, let me rush to bust your bubble. There are some folk who don't like you. The thing is, they just not bothered to tell you. Talk to me, somebody. Some people don't like you because you're a good person. Some people don't like you because you know how to be happy, and they've become experts at being miserable. Thus, your happiness becomes their hang-up. Some people don't like you because you're different. And we all know that there are some folk who need everyone around them to be like them, to think like them, to act like them, to be comfortable with others around them, which is an indicator that they've not matured to the point that they understand that different does not necessarily mean deficient. And so today, and so on today, I want to exercise the power of the pulpit and the might of the mic and tell you who my worst enemy is. Now I need you to know I've struggled with this thing. Brother Swafford, watch this. I've prayed about it and I finally decided that I can't stand him. He's been trying to destroy me. He's been trying to take me out. He's starting all kind of chaos in my life, Billy. I mean, I can't stand him. I know the Bible says that you ought not hate, but sometimes I find myself saying that I hate him. I mean, since the moment I came into the world, he's been meddling with me and messing with me. Every time I think I beat him, I've outwon him, he finds a way to catch up with me and get all in my stuff again. And so today I thought, since I got the mic, I'm going to let you know who he is, because I know some of y'all love your pastor and pray for your pastor, so I want you to know who's been messing with your pastor. And watch this, you all. He's even got nerve enough to be in this building today while I'm preaching this sermon. Listen, and I need to point him out so that when you pray, you'll call his name when you pray. Can I expose him in his house? Can I tell you who he is? The name of my worst enemy is me. See, the reality is the folk on your job, that's not your worst enemy, it's you. The people on the floor with you in the dorm, that's not your worst enemy, that's you. The folks that's been discussing you on Facebook, that's not your enemy, it's you. You see, you're your worst enemy because of how you're allowing yourself to be responsive to the foolishness that they do. Because at the end of the day, you and I alone have the power to handle how anyone treats us. Talk that to me. See, I cannot control how you treat me, but I can control how I respond to you, regardless of how you deal with me. You can talk about me, you can lie on me, you can mistreat me, or do whatever else you want to do to me. But at the end of the day, if I respond to you the way you've responded to me, it's not because you're my enemy, it's because I've allowed you a level of control over me that now has made me the worst enemy against me. Preach Pastor David. Everybody knows the story of David and Bathsheba. Now you may not know nothing about that David and Goliath stuff. You may not know nothing about the lion and the bear. You may not know nothing about him playing for Saul. You may not know nothing about him and Eliab having a problem. But everybody know about David peeping and creeping. Hello, somebody. Everybody knows the story of David and Bathsheba. In 2 Samuel chapter 11, we discover that the army was at war. And during this particular time period, whenever the army was at war, the king would be present and actively engaged in leading the army into combat. But according to 2 Samuel chapter 11, David decided to stay at home. Well, as you stay with the story, on the particular day in question, he looks across the way and he sees this fine piece of feminine pulchritude bathing herself in the noonday sun. Did you hear that I say? That's right, that fine piece of feminine pulchritude. I did it. I wish I had somebody. Oh yes. Now she was fine. Make no mistakes about it, she was fine. If he had looked over there and she looked like a Barilla, he never would have been in trouble. But he looked over there at Brother McLaughlin and she was fine. See, the problem with us is we try to sanitize the Bible. Hello, somebody. But you need to know she was fine. Greg, she was fine. He didn't just look over there and just see any kind of old female. He saw somebody that was fine as wine and pretty as a picture. Look, when he looks over there, Miss B, and he sees her, he uses his power and his position to have his way with her. Watch this now. You know the story. They said, King, that's Uriah's wife. But he ain't killing that there. Watch this. Not long ago, Charles, I was down in the gym, and I was talking to one of the young men that are a part of our after-school program. And he wanted to know at St. Paul, why didn't we celebrate Halloween? He said, Pastor, how come we don't celebrate Halloween at the church? Well, I went on to explain to him, you all, that Halloween was not really what he thought it was. That originally it was called All Saints Day, and it was a Christian holiday where they celebrated and thanked God for the souls of the saints who had gone on. But the world took it and turned it into some type of demonic holiday. And I went on to say to him that we don't celebrate it because the world has taken it from the church and then turned it into something that the church never intended for it to be. Well, for a minute he got quiet. I kind of smiled and thought I'd help the young man and go on about my business. And just as I turned to walk away, he said, but hold up, Pastor Davis. We get candy. I'm about to come and get you. When he said that, you all, my response to him, without even realizing the radical revelatory resolve of my retort, I said, what did you say? He said, Pastor, on Halloween, but we get candy. And I thought to myself, that's the problem. We don't mind doing wrong because it tastes so good. So the Bible says that David calls her over. He sleeps with her and she winds up pregnant. Now most people would have went into panic mode at that point, but not David. Because David thought to himself, I'm the man. He thought he was invincible because after all, he had been anointed and appointed by direct order from God. But beyond that, he started to believe the old hype about himself. Bible readers will remember it had not been that long ago that the people were chanting, Saul has killed his thousands, but David his 10,000. And every now and then, if you're not careful, you will start to get high on your own supply and get all caught up in the hype that other people have to say about you. I wish I would talk to me in here. See, listen. No need to get quiet, no need to get uneasy, because I told you at the outset of the sermon, I'm just introducing y'all to my worst enemy. Are you hearing me? See, I know my worst enemy, I don't know yours, so I'm just talking about my worst enemy. There have been times in my life, in my own pride and my own arrogance, I started to read my own press that had been printed by other people. People would say, David's a bad preacher. I wish I had somebody. Every time he show up, he's open casket sharp. He's just as smart as he want to be, and before I knew it, I convinced myself that they were right, and I said, you know what, Davis, you are a man. But watch this, before you second that motion too quickly, I've got some room for you to get on this boat with me, because I'm not the only somebody that's ever got caught up reading my own press. I wish I had somebody. Some of us have allowed other people to gas our head up and cause us to believe that we are invincible, but God's got a way. I said, but God's got a way of unveiling some stuff in your life that will keep you from being who God has called you to be. Listen, I know. That's too real for one or two of y'all, but God's got a way of lifting the covers because he refuses to allow you to operate in activity that will ultimately destroy the purpose that he has planned for your life. I wish I had somebody.